This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in places that could expose you to identity theft. That's why LifeLock monitors millions of data points every second. If your identity is stolen, their US-based restoration specialist will fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Upgrade your business with Shopify, home of the #1 checkout on the planet. Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning fewer carts going abandoned and more sales going cha-ching. So if you're into growing your business, get a commerce platform that's ready to sell wherever your customers are. Visit Shopify.com to upgrade your selling today.
When it comes to towing, seeing is believing. That's why Chevy Truck's advanced camera technology offers up to 8 available cameras for 14 unique views, so you can focus on the view that really matters. Chevrolet, together let's drive. Learn more about Chevy Trucks at Chevy.com. Safety or driver assistance features are no substitute for the driver's responsibility to operate the vehicle in a safe manner. Read the Vehicle Owner's Manual for important feature limitations and information.
From your fryer to the table, it's a quick trip for crispy fries. But how about a crosstown delivery? McCain SureCrisp fries are designed to go from fryer to container to carrier to passenger seat across town during rush hour, down a shortcut that wasn't all that short to a doorstep before they hit the table. And that first bite, the crispiness speaks for itself. To the last bite, McCain SureCrisp fries. Go the distance. See how far our fries can take your business at surecrisp.com/delivery.
Welcome back to Rams Up, your favorite LA Rams podcast. We are part of the Fans First Sports Network. You can follow us on our YouTube channel as well, at LA Rams Up. I'm your host, Mark. I'll be joined occasionally by my football gurus, Paul and Ian. Let's get to it. Hey, what's going on, Ram fans? Episode 619 of Rams Up. Going to get into this Rams-Cardinals game a little bit more today. Going to also share 13 random thoughts about the Rams in the NFL. And a heads up, Paul, Wally, and I are starting to eyeball the 2025 NFL draft. Now, we're not going to be jumping into mock drafts anytime soon. What we are going to start doing is taking a look at position groups, talking about top guys at each positions the Rams might be most interested in. And the first one we're going to look at is the top tight ends in the draft. That'll be coming at you real soon. Hey, it's episode 619, and we have not talked about any Rams who wore number 19 yet. For whatever reason, we missed it, episodes 419 and 519. So let's get to it. Let's talk about a Ram who wore number 19 and a player that I loved when he was with the Rams. Wide receiver, punt returner, kick returner, Brandon Powell. Powell, 5'8", 181 pounds, out of Florida, went undrafted, played briefly for the Lions and Falcons, and then in November of 2021, the Rams signed him to their practice squad, and he eventually got on the field, had a punt return in the third quarter of a game in December against the Minnesota Vikings, was key to the Rams winning that game and securing a playoff berth for the team, actually. And for that effort, he was named NFC Special Teams Player of the Week. And he is a Super Bowl champion, having won the Super Bowl against the Bengals with the Rams that year. Played out the 2022 season, finished his Rams career with 24 catches and 156 yards, but he made his name in the return game. 30 punt returns for 310 yards in that TD, 10.3 average, and as a kick returner, 38 returns for 813 yards, 21.4 yard average. And he was a guy that, he got his chances, but he didn't get enough chances. I think every Ram fan saw that when he was with the team. We were just stocked at wide receiver, but he was an electric player. And no fault to the Rams. If he had had more opportunities, he would have been a welcome addition to that wide receiver group. And he's with the Vikings now, still playing well. Brandon Powell, our number 19 for the LA Rams. I think he's a player that most LA Ram fans really appreciate it. Before we get to that Ram-Cardinal game, let's go through my Ram Ruminations, 13 random thoughts about the Rams in the NFL. My first thought is I'm pretty convinced the AFC representative in the Super Bowl is either going to be Buffalo, Kansas City, or Baltimore. Now, there's one team to keep your eye on. Could change this week. Maybe I'll change my mind by Sunday night, depending on the results. Don't count out the Cincinnati Bengals. I would give the Bengals a better chance of getting to the Super Bowl than the likes of Houston or Pittsburgh at this point. They just got to get into the dance. Thought number 2, can't say the same for the NFC. Virtually 7 teams really have a shot at this point, and they're the obvious suspects at this time. Detroit, Philadelphia, Washington, yes, Washington, the Rams, the Packers, the Vikings, and the Lions. I think any one of those 7 could make it. Random thought number 3, the Rams will draft a tight end in the 2025 draft. And Paul and I will be eyeballing some of those candidates, some of those top prospects very soon here, probably a day or 2 after you hear this. Thought number 4, really an observation. Assuming the Rams get into the playoffs, there should be only one potential outdoor road game, and that would be Philadelphia. Now, if they dropped to number 4 in Tampa Bay or Atlanta, jumped up to number 3, you'd add a second location that could be outdoor, but generally warmer weather. And the Super Bowl, by the way, will be indoors as well, so I am counting that. Observation number 5, I counted 17 first and second year players that are making an impact for the Rams. Pretty amazing, and I might be missing a couple. Observation number 6, in my opinion, each of the other NFC West teams have an issue, a dilemma at the quarterback position. They have starters that are too good to move on from, but probably not good enough to win a Super Bowl. Now, Matthew Stafford, that's a whole different deal. The only issue with Stafford is his age. Maybe he has a 2 or 3 year window at most, but Kyler Murray, Geno Smith, Brock Purdy, those franchises are probably going to roll with those 3 guys, but come playoff time, who you got? Observation number 7, man, I hope the Rams can lock down Alaric Jackson. They are really deep on the interior offensive line. Rob Havenstein getting up there in years, Alaric Jackson, a younger left tackle who is playing so well. If we lose him, we're going to have to go invest in a left tackle in the draft or free agency. Let's just keep Alaric. Find a way to get it done. Observation number 8, the Rams can bring one more guy back from IR, and the candidates are obviously John Johnson and Troy Reeder, and they're being smart about it, taking a wait-and-see approach. There's no urgency. I'm not even sure if these guys are ready, to be honest with you, but even if they are, why bring them back now? Let's see what transpires. For as long as we can, hold off on bringing one of these guys back. I still think John Johnson would be a great addition for the playoffs. Observation number 9, and this is courtesy of Blaine Grizak on Twitter. Rams kicker Joshua Carty is one made field goal away from passing Greg Zuerlein for the second most field goals by a rookie kicker in franchise history. He is also currently the most accurate rookie kicker in Rams franchise history. That's with a minimum of 10 attempts. He's made 82.5% of his field goals. And, he's taken some heat. He's taken some heat here from the Rams Up roundtable crew. But you know what? He's made the important kicks, hasn't he? Maybe we got something here in Joshua Carty. And how about this stat? Observation number 10. According to Pro Football Focus, the leaders in positive plays on this season are Lamar Jackson, Jaden Daniels, Joe Burrow, and Bijan Robinson. Number 5, the Rams' rookie edge rusher, Jared Verse. Observation number 11. This is just a random thought that occurred to me. If Sam Darnold is going to re-sign with the Vikings, would J.J. McCarthy be available in trade? Probably not, but man, I wouldn't be opposed to pursuing that. Observation number 12, obviously we'd like the Rams to wrap up this NFC West title this week, or at least pretty much have it in the bag. Maybe the strength of victories isn't a done deal, but we know it's going to happen because I'd love to see some of these guys off the bench get more playing time, especially running back Cody Schrader. Very curious to see him on the field, see what he brings to the table. And observation number 13, more an area of concern. Brennan Jackson, what's going on with him? We need to see more of him too. He was active last week. Not a single defensive snap though. Perhaps he was playing special teams, not sure. But it would be nice if we got something out of him. Our outside linebacker depth really hurting with Nick Hampton on the shelf. Be nice to see him rotating in. But the fact that we're not seeing him already, an area of concern. I'm not writing the guy off quite yet. He's a rookie. Sometimes it takes a little while for these guys to get caught up with the NFL speed and produce on a day-to-day basis. Rams perhaps just not willing to risk it yet. Maybe he's not quite ready. But another guy that maybe in Week 18 we could see him out there if the Rams have pretty much locked things up. Back in a second with more on the Rams-Cardinals Week 17 matchup.
¿Hablas español?
Sprichst du Deutsch?
Kan du norsk?
If you've heard that sound from Babbel before, I bet you do. Babbel is the science-backed language learning app that actually works. With quick 10-minute lessons handcrafted by over 200 language experts, Babbel gets you on your way to speaking a new language in just a few weeks. With over 16 million subscriptions sold and a 20-day money-back guarantee, just start speaking another language with Babbel. Right now, up to 55% off your Babbel subscription at babbel.com/Spotify podcast. Spelled BABBEL.com/Spotify podcast. Rules and restrictions may apply.
This episode is brought to you by NFL Sunday Ticket on YouTube TV. Catch every moment of your team's playoff push with NFL Sunday Ticket on YouTube TV. You'll get amazing features like multi-view, and right now, it's only $49 for the rest of the NFL regular season. So give yourself the ultimate gift this holiday season. Get NFL Sunday Ticket for $49. Sign up now at youtube.com/Sunday Ticket. Device and content restrictions apply. Local and national games on YouTube TV. NFL Sunday Ticket for out-of-market games excludes digital-only games.
Okay, Saturday night, Rams versus Cardinals. The spread has moved to 6.5 points from 6. So some money apparently going on the Rams in this one. Probably due a lot to the Cardinals' injury situation. We'll get to that in a minute. Rams have won 50 games in this series to 41 losses and 2 ties. That goes all the way back to 1937. The Chicago Cardinals beat the Cleveland Rams 6-0. Now, since Sean McVay joined the Rams, LA holds a 13-4 record over Arizona. Now, last time they played, it was pretty ugly. In September, Cardinals 41, Rams 10. Marvin Harrison going off on the Rams. But the game I like to remember is that 2021 playoff game, Rams 34, Cardinals 10. Rams led 21-0 at halftime. Odell Beckham Jr. had a 4-yard catch, his first postseason touchdown. Hard to believe. And Matthew Stafford and Beckham connected later on a 30-yard pass to help set up a 1-yard score by Stafford. Cardinals went 3 and out on their first 4 drives. And then facing a 3rd and 7 from the Arizona 4, Murray tried to evade Rams linebacker Troy Reeder and threw a desperation pass intercepted by David Long for the score. The shortest interception return for a touchdown in NFL playoff history, a 3-yard return. That was also the game where Beckham took a lateral from Stafford and hit Cam Akers for a 40-yard gain. That was the first possession of the second half. Cam Akers and Sony Michel combined for over 100 yards on the ground. And defensive tackle Marquise Copeland added an interception. Man, a lot of names from the past here that we might have forgotten about. OBJ, David Long, Sony Michel, Cam Akers, Marquise Copeland, all pitching in. So what about this 2024 version of the Arizona Cardinals? Let's recap their season real quick. They opened up by losing to the Bills in Buffalo, and they actually had the lead there, gave it away, gave up a late touchdown in the first half. Bills came back and beat them. They came back and crushed the Rams in that second week game, 41-10. Lost 3 of the next 4. The only team they beat in that span was the 49ers. Then they went on a 4-game winning streak, beating the Chargers, Dolphins, Bears, and Jets, followed by a 3-game losing streak to the Seahawks, Vikings, and the Seahawks once again. And then they beat the Patriots, went to Carolina, and lost in overtime. And that's where they're at now, 7-8, eliminated from the playoffs. Now they're relegated to playing spoiler, coming to SoFi, trying to knock off the Rams. Now, I'm not going to go over their team stats thoroughly. We did that in the roundtable. Focus on a couple of things here. They are the 4th best team on the ground, rushing the ball on offense, 146 yards per game. But 2 things to consider. Kyler Murray is a big part of that, and James Conner as well. And Conner is questionable. We'll get to the injury report here in a second. And they are also missing their 2 starting tackles. Meanwhile, the Rams' rushing defense is 25th in the league, giving up 131 yards per game, but they've been much better recently. So I think this is a deceiving stat. I think the Cardinals will have a hard time running the ball on the Rams, although Kyler Murray, he's always a threat, and he's the guy they probably need to be most concerned about if both tackles are out and Conner is banged up a little bit. And the other stat that is a little deceiving, the Rams' rushing offense, 108 yards per game, 20th, while the Cardinals' defense is 22nd against the run, defending the run, 130 yards per game. And I think this is a deceiving stat from the Rams' perspective as far as rushing the ball. They're much better than this stat suggests, especially over the last few weeks. They just got to dedicate themselves to running the ball, and they will have no problem moving the ball on this Cardinals defense on the ground. They just have to choose to do so, in my opinion. Who are their leaders on offense? Well, Murray, over 3,000 yards passing, 16 TDs, 9 interceptions. Their leader is playing. We'll have to see. His backup, the rookie Trey Benson. Now, he is teammates with Jared Verse and Braden Fisk at Florida State last year, 291 yards rushing and 1 TD. But Benson is also banged up, so if Conner and Benson can't go, it'll be Michael Carter and DJ Dallas the ex-Seahawk, who have combined for 13 carries this year. Murray, a threat on the ground too, 517 yards and 5 TDs. Their leading receiver is tight end Trey McBride, 958 yards but 0 TDs. Rookie Marvin Harrison, 726 yards, 7 TDs. And Michael Wilson is a threat as well. Big, tall receiver out of Stanford, 526 yards and 4 TDs. And their defense, man, Budda Baker, the safety, one of the best in the business forever, it seems like, leads the team with 148 tackles. He is just a great player, period. Potential Hall of Famer down the road. I think he would deserve it. Sometimes these guys that play for weak teams get overlooked. Makes no sense. He is a great safety. Defensive tackle Dante Stills leads them in sacks, 4.5, and cornerback Sean Murphy-Bunting has 2 interceptions. As far as injuries, Rob Havenstein showed up on the Rams' Wednesday injury report. First time a Ram has showed up on the injury report in over a week, I think, having an issue with his shoulder. But man, Rams really can't complain. The Arizona Cardinals injury report is significant. Safety Joey Blount did not participate, and cornerback Elijah Jones was also out. This is the Wednesday report. And limited running back Trey Benson, left guard Evan Brown, linebacker Baron Browning, Conner we already mentioned, kicker Matt Prater has a knee issue, defensive lineman Darius Robinson, and inside linebacker Mac Wilson also. And we already mentioned their 2 starting tackles, Jonah Williams and Paris Johnson, put on IR. They are done. But look, we know what this Arizona Cardinals team is all about. It's about Kyler Murray and James Conner, and maybe their young wide receiver Marvin Harrison, their tight end Trey McBride get going. Now remember, in that first meeting, Marvin Harrison went off on us. That was when Trey White had the duties for the most part. That did not work out well. It'll be Ahkello Witherspoon and Kobe Durant, Darius Williams, taking on that task in this game. Probably mostly Witherspoon, I would guess. Their offensive line is depleted, so it really comes down to Kyler Murray. We limit him, we frustrate him, we take care of the Cardinals fairly easily, I think. On offense, we should be able to pound the ball. Sean McVay just has to stick with what's been working recently. Yeah, we can throw the ball around a little bit too, get Puka and Cooper involved, maybe Tyler Higbee as well, but it's really about pounding the rock with Kyron Williams and a little bit of Blake Corum. So I think I just told you what my fearsome 4 keys are. Fearsome key number 1, frustrate Murray with a disciplined pass rush. Don't let him escape. He's going to extend a few plays here and there. That's fine, but don't let him be running off, converting 3rd and 18s with a scrambling run like he's done to us in the past. Fearsome key number 2, hey, we just need to shut down their run game. There's no reason we can't do that. With their starting tackles out, Benson and Connor banged up, they're not going to be 100%. There's no reason this team should be able to run the ball on us with their running backs. Make Murray pass, keep him in the pocket. That'll be a recipe for winning on defense. Fearsome key number 3, on offense, just run the ball, just pound it, keep on pounding. That'll open up some options with the play action for sure. Establish the run it down their throat. And fearsome key number 4, let's just get the jump on them and bury this team really fast. Give them no hope. Kind of like that playoff game in 2021. Let's just bury them early, put this game out of reach by halftime. And that's just me being selfish. Don't put me through this, Sean McVay and our Los Angeles Rams. How about an easy, stress-free win for the first time in what seems like forever? My prediction, as I shared on the roundtable, Rams 30, Cardinals 17, and I don't think it's going to be that close. Cardinals get a late TD to make it sound interesting. Rams improve to 10-6. That's going to do it for this episode. Remember, you can reach us at ramsuppodcast@gmail.com. And don't forget about our YouTube channel. Our handle is at laramsup.com. Till next time, keep the horns up, stay safe, and have fun out there.